seminar with the theme Education and Artificial Intelligence. The Honorable Dean of Philosophy Faculty of Widya Mandira Catholic University. The Honorable Vice Dean of Philosophy Faculty of Widya Mandira Catholic University. The Honorable 12 presenters. The Honorable lecturers and students. Dear participants, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your presence and participation. Warm greetings for you all in Indonesian poem. Pagi-pagi mancing ikan. Ikan nila sedap rasanya. Selamat datang kami ucapkan. Suasana online tetap terkesan adanya. Pagi hari makan kelapa. Rasanya nikmat, bikin tertawa. Seminar Internasional FF Unwira menyapa. Anda dan saya jadi pribadi istimewa. Ladies and gentlemen, let's praise the Lord in opening prayer before we continue our seminar. Brother Chico will lead us in this prayer. Brother Chico, time is yours.
Begin in the Holy Spirit. We bow prayer in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit.
Amen.
Father in heaven, we give thanks for protecting us from our night sleep until this morning. We also give thanks for giving us the wisdom and intellect to enlarge and enhance our understanding by developing our brotherly love in academic activities. In this morning, as we begin our seminar international under the general theme, Education and Artificial Intelligence, we invoke the presence of the Holy Spirit and the Lord Jesus to guide us through ongoing our discussions so that whatever we discuss may be fruitful and meaningful for our journey, especially towards our own vocations. We also pray for our presenters, our keynote speakers today. May you give them your wisdom and the power of the Holy Spirit to inspire us with their presenting material, so that whatever they presented to us may be a vessel for us to learn and growth in our academic situation. We make this prayer through our Lord Jesus Christ, your Son, who lives and reigns with you and the Holy Spirit, one God, forever and ever. Amen.
Amen.
In the name of the Father,
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Brother Chico. Now, we will be listening the welcoming speeches from the Vice Dean of Philosophy Faculty of Widya Mandira Catholic University, Reverend Father Theodorus Silap, Licentiate of Theology. Father Theo, we welcome you.
Thank you so much, Father Anton. My dear brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, good morning to all of you.
Good morning.
Good morning, Father.
Good morning, Father.
Thank you so much. Honorable Dr. Gabriel Faimau, MSc, Honorable Professor Gianluigi Segalerba, PhD, Honorable Reverend Patricius Neonu, Master Philosophy, parallel session presenters, Rector of Widya Mandira Catholic University, Kupang, Father Dr. Philip Stule SVD, Dean of the Faculty of Philosophy, Widya Mandira Catholic University Kupang, Reverend Yohanes Subani, Licentiate Juris Canonici, faculty members, students, ladies and gentlemen, participants of the international seminar. Good morning to all of you.
Good morning. Good morning, Father.
Today, the Faculty of Philosophy at Widya Mandira Catholic University Kupang is hosting an international seminar titled International Conference on Education and Artificial Intelligence. This seminar features 3 keynote speakers from both domestic and international universities. Dr. Gabriel Faimau, MEC, professor in the Department of Sociology at the University of Botswana, Professor Gianluigi Segalerba, PhD, from the Institute for Philosophical Studies, Universidade de Coimbra, Portugal, and Reverend Patricius Neonob, Master Philosophy, lecturer in philosophy at the Faculty of Philosophy, Widya Mandira Catholic University, Kupang. Additionally, there are 12 parallel session presenters from various universities and backgrounds in Indonesia. This seminar is organized as an academic response from the Faculty of Philosophy, Widya Mandira Catholic University, to the presence of artificial intelligent technology in the educational environment. Ladies and gentlemen, we cannot deny that artificial intelligence has developed rapidly in recent years and has significantly impacted various aspects of life, including the field of education. AI can be understood as the ability of machines to perform tasks that typically require human intelligence. AI can provide diverse contributions to education, ranging from improvements in the learning process to personalizing learning experiences. The presence of AI in education world has a dual effect. One of the main impact of AI on education is the personalization of learning. Here, educators can design learning experiences tailored to students' individual needs, improving learning effectiveness and enabling students to learn more efficiently. AI can also stimulate student creativity. On the other hand, AI can lead to dependence on machine learning technologies and replace the role of educators who provide classroom materials and shape students' character. Additionally, AI may weaken students' critical awareness and reflective thinking skills. Therefore, this international seminar aims to provide a space for discussion on the role of philosophy in thinking through and formulating responses to the challenges posed by AI for education. Ladies and gentlemen, today's presenters will help us with their thoughts and their research to explore deeper into the extent of AI's impact on our educational world. With these introductory thoughts, on behalf of the Rector of Vidya Mandira Catholic University Kupang, Father Dr. Philippus Tule SV, I extend abundant thanks and a warm welcome to Dr. Gabriel Faimau MEC, Professor Gianluigi Segalerba PhD, Reverend Patricius Nunu Master Philosophy, and all of you participants, also presenters. I officially open this international seminar. Enjoy the seminar. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Father.
Thank you, Father Theo.
Thank
Dear
you.
audience, Philosophy Discourse wanna tell you something about education and artificial intelligence. Let's start our seminar. But pay attention, please. There is some information. First, we are divided into 6 breakout rooms. Don't worry, our IT team will help you to enter the breakout rooms. Once again, don't worry, our IT team will help you to go to breakout rooms. Second, there are 12 presenters. They were divided into 6 groups, and every presenter will present their PPT in breakout room for 15 to 20 minutes. Third, there is a moderator who led the seminar in each breakout rooms. So, keep calm and listen to the moderator's instructions, and we will enjoy the seminar in our breakout rooms. Keep calm and listen to the moderator's instructions, please. Fifth, keep your mind and enjoy our parallel seminar session as an academic person. Thank you for your attention and good luck. This is the time for our IT team to divide us in breakout rooms. So keep calm, and our team will do it for you. As information, now we are in 155 participants. Thank you very much for your presence here.
Selamat pagi, Pak Moderator. Do you hear my voice?
Yeah, I hear your voice clear.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, let us start our first session now. The comment will be give us some attention for us before we begin today, because here with us we are 10 participants. Okay, we're still waiting for the others to start running to join with us in the other rooms. First of all, I would like to say good morning for our first speaker, Mr. Ferdinandus J. Halut.
Good morning, Mr. Ferdinandus.
Good morning, Father.
Provision for the article, yeah. The article was published in October in Roman Veritas.
Thank you, Father Patrice.
Okay.
Good morning to you, Father Patrice.
Good morning.
How are you today?
Not so good.
Hopefully, all of you will be enjoyed during our conference today.
Oh, anyway, Ferdinandus, yeah. I have not edited your affiliation, maybe, from Holyfield, yeah, because he changed his affiliation. He changed his affiliation on the article.
Oh, Ernestus Holyfield.
Yeah. I think I have to
Because
check it. Yeah.
when we submit that article, he became a lecturer at the Venus University.
Venus University. Now he was in
Undana, Jepang.
Okay.
He's in Undana right now. Yeah.
Then okay. I think I will change it as soon as possible after this.
Thank you, Father.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah.
Who is FIFO? FIFO V2333. Change your name, please. Change your account. FIFO. We have to know who you are. Mr. FIFO or Mrs. FIFO?
For all of you,
Miss FIFO. Miss
that's
FIFO.
now to mention your name in your ID contact. Please change and write your name on your contact. Ya kan? Yang dulu. Again, I say good morning to all of you. Can you hear my voice?
It's clear, perfectly clear.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Father. Okay. I think it's good time to begin our conference in this morning right now. So, first of all, good morning, dear lovers of wisdom. Welcome to join the virtual meeting room in the international conference. I, Hubert Eko Setiawan, and my brother, Kondra Koda, will moderate the presentations and discussions that will take place over the next few hours. I hope that you will be enjoy our conference this morning and stick around until it is over. Dear knowledge activists, we have with us today two speakers who are competent in their respective fields. They will hold us accountable for their thesis and critical thinking. So, on this honorable occasion, allow me to welcome our two speakers who have joined us in this virtual meeting room. These are our two speakers. Firstly, Ms. Helena Rea. She will be presenting her paper entitled Misinformation Belief in Others and Mixed Perspectives. And our second speaker is Mr. Ferdinandus Jehalut. He will present his paper entitled Rethinking Humanities Education in the Post-Human Era. Ms. Era and Mr. Jehalut, good morning, I say to you. If you hear my voice, please say hello.
Hello, good morning.
Okay.
Okay.
Dear brothers and sisters, before we starting the presentations from our speakers, I will read out a few rules that we must abide by during the discussions. First rules. Speakers are given 15 to 20 minutes to present their paper. Second rule. Participants must create a quiet situation and switch off their mics or microphone while the speakers are presenting their papers. Rule 2. Participants may speak after being authorized by the moderator. The moderator has the right to determine who can speak and who cannot speak. Rule number 4. After the presentation, the participants are given the opportunity to ask their questions, responses, and suggestions to the speakers for their presentation in the discussion session. These are some of the rules that need to be obeyed together. Let us follow attentively the presentation that will be delivered by the first speaker. Here with us, Mr. Ferdinandus Dehal. We are still waiting for the presence of Miss Helena Rea. And I think it could be better if we start our presentation today with the presentation by our first speaker, Mr. Ferdinandus J. Halut. First of all, before I give the opportunity to Mr. Fernandus J. Halut, I will to present and introduce to all of you about our first speaker. Mr. Ferdinandus J. Halut has completed his Bachelor of Philosophy degree at IFTK Ledalero Maumere, East Nusa Tenggara, and a master's program in communication at Gadjah Mada University. Currently, he is actively working at Indonesian Agora Research Center and Satu Nama Foundation, Yogyakarta. Mr. Ferdinandus J. Halut, I give you opportunity to present your presentation for 15 to 20 minutes. The voice is yours.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Moderator. Good morning to you, the Honorable Mr. Moderator, the Honorable Father Patrice, the Honorable all participants. In briefly, Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to share my material.
Okay, please.
Have you seen my material?
Yes, we see.
Okay. Once again, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. At this moment, I will present my article, my paper entitled Rethinking Humanities Education in the Post-Human Era. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Magnum Miraculum Est Homo, man is the great miracle. That was Hermes Trismegistus' famous statement in Asclepius. Giovanni Pico della Mirandola revived the idea in the 16th century. As the father of humanism Renaissance, Mirandola believed that humans have the capacity to create and build themselves. This idea led to an excessive worship of the individual's intelligence and ability in all things, especially in the field of science, art, and culture. Humanism Renaissance sought to revive classical humanism. Classical humanism had the credo, man is the ultimate subject in the universe. Protagoras, a sophist from the 5th century BC, ever said that man is the measure of all things, something that exists so that it exists, and something that does not exist so that it doesn't exist. This is a historical precedent of the attempt to create intelligent machines. It is in line with the Renaissance ideal of creating an ideal and universal human, Homo universale. The ideal and universal man is fully aware of his infinite potential. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the realization of man's unlimited potential was reinforced during the Aufklärung or Enlightenment. The Aufklärung lived from a total trust in the light of reason, which was seen to be able to pierce the dark veils of religion, tradition, and myth that shackled the ratio. The Aufklärung expressed the embodiment of the radical anthropocentrism that had laid its foundation in humanism Renaissance. The product of the visions of humanism Renaissance and Aufklärung was rapid progress in science and information and communication technology. However, this progress has resulted in a situation that is paradoxal to the utopian vision of humanism Renaissance and Aufklärung. Instead of counting the supremacy of human reason and anthropocentric rationality, human existence and identity are threatened. The threat is evident in the form of artificial intelligence or AI technology. The unbridled proliferation of technology is forcing humans to shift from the humanism Renaissance and Aufklärung perspective to a new, more challenging perspective. Rossi Braidotti calls this new perspective post-human. Post-humanity, according to Braidotti, is not a future dystopia, but rather our historical condition. This condition involves a human subject that is increasingly integrated with technology and the environment. In other words, the human subject is no longer a separate entity from nature and technology. Instead, humans are part of larger material network connected to non-human beings, technology, and the environment. This subject is nomadic, always in the process of becoming and never fixed. Yeah. This article aims to explain the key thesis of posthumanism. In particular, it seeks to explore the implications of the posthumanism perspective for humanities education. This article highlights efforts to rethinking humanities education in the post-human era. The specific context of Indonesia will also be revived in this article. This is my research novelty. The novelty of this article lies in the attempt to rethinking humanities education in the midst of posthumanism. Yeah. This is different from my research before. Yeah. Okay. Methodology. This research uses qualitative approach and critical paradigm, and you can read it in my paper. Yeah. Findings and discussion. Yeah. Posthumanism, human decentralization amidst technological advancements, and the threat of environmental crisis. Yeah. The roots of posthumanism theory can historically be traced back to the Massey Conference on the Cybernetic. Yeah. At that time, interdisciplinary experts, specifically physics, biology, and computer science, sought to revise the theory of humanism by removing the privileges of the human species compared to animals, the environments, and machines. In other words, they sought to remove anthropocentrism from the theory of humanism. Protagoras ever said that man is the miser of all things, and René Descartes said man as annoying and consciousness subject by Cogito ergo sum. Immanuel Kant, man as a community of reasons. It is a historical traces of posthumanism, historical traces of the idea of Aufklärung and anthropocentrism, especially. Yeah. The crisis of the Anthropocene is indeed compounded by rapid technological advance on the one hand and increasing environmental and social inequalities on the other hand. Referring to the Anthropocene is not enough, in my opinion. Yeah. We need new ideas and terms to understand and face current challenges and to chart future paths. Braidotti over the idea and term posthumanism. Yeah. Posthumanism questions anthropocentric claims. According to Braidotti, we live in a geological time where the negative impacts of human activity on the sustainability of planet can be empirically measured. These impacts are complex and span multiple interconnected ecosystems. This shows the failure of the concept of anthropocentric humanism. Anthropocentric humanism creates new problems in environmental, socio-economic, and emotional and psychological aspect. In environmental ethics, you can see many perspectives of idea to counter anthropocentric idea, like biocentrism, and etc. Yeah. Bart Simon explains that posthumanism emphasizes the deconstruction of classical humanism that places humans at the center of everything. In other words, posthumanism offers the concept of decentralizing humans from the center and center of everything. By quoting Francis Fukuyama in his book entitled Our Posthuman Future, Consequences of the Biotechnology Revolution, Bart Simon said that contemporary biotechnology poses a serious threat to humans. Advances in contemporary biotechnology are likely to change human nature and could even bring humans to a new stage in history, namely posthuman. Okay, the state of posthumanism marks a significant qualitative shift in thinking about human identity and its role in the world. This debate includes discussions ranging from robotics and prosthetic technology to transhumanism. While in critical theory, posthumanism is seen as an accepting new developments, it also triggers an anxiety anxiety about the declining relevance of the concept of man as the center and the measure of all things, especially in the humanities. Yeah. The rationality that was once considered the basic reference of the human species, for example, is now being challenged, because intelligent machine can also think and act or make a making decision. Yeah, for the first time in history, humans can create machine that can think, create, and evolve dependent of all human control. Yeah, Fukuyama warns that while scientific progress is necessary and desirable for the good of all, if unchecked, it threatens to transform the condition of humanity with the prospect of dire social cost. Okay, second, blurred boundaries between human and non-human. It is the second key idea of posthumanism. The basic reference unit of humans as ens rationale, yeah, subject of knowledge and thinking subject is blurred. Yeah. Machine like AI can also think and produce knowledge. Agency is no longer the exclusive property of human. Yeah. The basic assumption of posthumanism lies in the understanding that living matter has vital self-organizing powers and is not natural. Yeah. The concept of the nature-culture continuum shifts the strict distinction between what is given nature and what is constructed or culture. Yeah. Or culture. Yeah. Posthumanism creates a new scientific paradigm that rejects dualism. Yeah. In this framework, the boundaries between human and non-human are blurred due to the impact of scientific and technological advance that challenge traditional categories of identity and social practice. Okay, Lemke discussed vital materialism in the context of political theory by focusing on the ideas of Jane Bennett. Bennett developed the concept of think power, which described the ability of inanimate objects to influence and have life of their own. Bennett's vital materialism aims to abolish the boundaries between humans and non-humans as well as subjects and objects. He recognized that objects such as metals, plants, and even weather phenomena have the potential to act. This indicates a shift from the traditional view of agency, which is usually only associated with humans, to the recognition that inanimate objects also have the capacity to act or agency. And the third is man and artificial intelligence. I think that not everyone is ready to accept the fact that intelligent machines can replace humans. Not everyone. American computer and cognitive scientist McCarthy in 1955 called intelligent machines artificial intelligence. So McCarthy is the first person to call these intelligent machines as artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence has become an important part of our daily lives today. We often rely on AI to do many tasks in office, at school, or at work, etc. Jobs that were once only done by humans can now be done by machines. Even intelligent machines or AI can do it more effectively, quickly, and precisely, blurring the lines between humans and non-human. Okay, tolong jalan. AI is understood as a reactive machine developed to mimic. Once again, AI is understood as a reactive machine developed to mimic human behavior. That is what is called narrow or weak AI. In contrast, general or strong AI or AGI, artificial general intelligence, is AI that can learn and think autonomously, and is therefore theoretically called intelligent. AGI refers to machines that have the authentic ability to think, have at least limited memory, and are capable of performing most human tasks. Artificial superintelligence, or ASI, meanwhile, is a speculative technology that will be self-aware. This is why some people suggest that there should be a fourth category of AI, namely conscious AI. At the core of AI are algorithms. Modern computer algorithms have been around since the 1960s. However, ancient algorithms were already invented in the 19th century. In the 9th century, yeah, Persian scientist, Abdullah Muhammad bin Musa, yeah, often referred to as the father of algebra, yeah, algebra, yeah, is indirectly responsible for the creation of the term algorithm. Yeah. In simple terms, an algorithm is a step-by-step process to accomplish a task. Algorithms in this context are often associated with math and computer science. In general, an algorithm is understood as a guide or a set of fixed commands that become a computer program. It is what tells the machine what to do. Yeah, AI has the ability to self-learn, and we usually say that machine learning, and also has the capacity to do reinforcement learning. What do we mean by intelligence? If AI technology is indeed intelligent, does that mean it has cognitive abilities such as perceptions, memory, judgments, and reasoning? Does it actually know something, or does it just store and generate data? Then regarding consciousness, emotions such as joy and anger, empathy, compassion, and other experiences, does AI also have them? Yeah. Intelligence is variously understood. Yeah. Some understand intelligence as the general mental ability to reason, solve problems, and learn. Carl Berreiter, an education researcher, defines intelligence as what you use when you don't know what to do. Flynn Coleman defines intelligence as the ability to solve new problems. Man tends to place himself at the center of the universe. He also places himself at the top in any discussion of intelligence. However, according to Coleman, we must realize that animals and plants also possess certain types of intelligence that far surpass human intelligence. Yeah. And next, posthumanism, anti-humanism, post-anthropocentrism, and transhumanism. I want to clear some terms about posthumanism, anti-humanism, post-anthropocentrism, and transhumanism. Yeah. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, posthumanism is not the same as anti-humanism. Yeah. The antithesis of humanism is anti-humanism. Examples of anti-humanist ideology in history are fascism and communism. And posthumanism versus post-anthropocentrism. Yeah. Posthumanism is related to the shift in how we view humans in the age of advanced technology. This shift in perspective has an impact on our construction of human identity. Posthumanism in this context is a critique of the concept of anthropocentric humanism, while post-anthropocentrism is related to the shift in focus from humans to non-humans entity. Yeah. Posthumanism is also different from post-anthropocentrism. According to Braidotti, posthumanism and post-anthropocentrism refers to two different lineages and are not automatically related. Posthumanism is related to the shift in how we view humans in the age of advanced technology. It impacts our construction of human identity. Okay, I have explained it. Despite the relationship between the posthuman remains distinct from posthumanism and post-anthropocentrism. According to Braidotti, the posthuman is a convergence phenomenon that occurs at the intersection between posthumanism and post-anthropocentrism. Posthumanism criticizes the ideal of Western humanism that defines humans as intelligent beings who are the universal measure of all things. Meanwhile, post-anthropocentrism rests on the rejection of species hierarchy and exclusion of the humans. Yeah. Okay. Posthumanism and its implication for humanities education designs. Posthumanist humanities education no longer places humans at the center of everything. As explained by Braidotti, posthumanism proposes a decentralized view of humans. Humans in a posthumanist perspective should be seen as the part of an interconnected network with technology, ecosystems, and other non-human entities. This idea blurs the traditional boundaries between humans and technology. This idea directs humanities education to do not only focus on exploring human values such as rationality, empathy, creativity, and morality, but also understanding the dynamic interaction between humans, technology, and nature in a broader context. Yeah. Post-humanist humanities education design encourages transdisciplinary and interdisciplinary approach. In the context of education in Indonesia, I think that the post-humanist approach is in line with the independent curriculum Merdeka, and independent campus Merdeka policies that offers flexibility in learning. While in the other case, I criticize this curriculum, yeah, because I think that these curriculums support instrumental rationalism to produce a budak korporat in Indonesia. Yeah. With an interdisciplinary approach, students have the freedom to choose subjects from various disciplines. This supports the development of technological literacy, competencies, ecological awareness, and social understanding in a broader context, where humans and non-humans coexist. Yeah. Posthumanism also changed humanity education perspective on the subject of knowledge. Anthropocentric humanities places humans as a sole subject with agency to produce knowledge. Yeah. Posthumanism expands the concept of subject with agency to produce knowledge to include AI and other non-human entities. Yeah. Based on the explanation above, in line with Andre Finberg's the substantive perspective of technology, the author sees that in the post-human era, technology, including AI, is not just a tool, but part of the new educational environment. Technology not only needs to be integrated in teaching and learning activities, but also understood as an agent that can influence the dynamics of learning. Okay, moral responsibility of intelligence. It is interesting questions here. Does AI also have a moral responsibility? In the traditional perspective, moral responsibility is associated with the ability to make decisions based on awareness, ethical judgments, and consequences of actions. Therefore, actions that can be held morally accountable from the perpetrators are only actus humanus, yeah, not actus hominis. Actus humanus is an action based on the moral awareness of the perpetrator, while actus hominis is an action that is instinctual and reflects. Yeah. Despite having human-like cognitive capacities, AI is still a machine. Yeah. It does things without any moral intent. Yeah. As such, machines cannot be held morally accountable in the same sense as human. However, in the post-human perspective, agency is not the exclusive property of humans. Yeah. AI is considered to have limited agency because it influences and even make decisions that have a significant impact on human lives. These limitations has sparked a polemic on to what extent AI can be considered an entity with moral responsibility. Yeah. If the frame of post-humanist humanist education, moral responsibility may need to be understood as distributed. AI is considered to be part of the ethical decision-making process, but the ultimate responsibility remains with the developers, users, and institutions that utilize AI in education. An intelligent machine may be able to help students and educators make more ethical decisions by providing information and analysis, but it has no human-like moral understanding. In this context, AI is only considered as a tool in this context, once again. Yeah. Therefore, the design of post-humanist humanities education need to emphasize students and educators' understanding of the limits of AI agency and how to be morally responsible for the outcomes of AI use. Yeah. Conclusions and suggestions. Posthumanism is characterized by the decentralization of humans and the blurring of boundaries between humans and non-human entities. And the second, humanities education in the post-humanist era must be designed to not only focus on exploring human values such as rationality, empathy, creativity, and morality, but also need to understand the dynamic interaction between humans, technology, and nature. The design of post-human humanities education need to adopt transdisciplinary and interdisciplinary approaches. In the context of Indonesia, both approaches are in line with the independent curriculum and independent campus policies that offer flexibility in learning. Yeah. This research also found that while intelligent technology such as AI has human-like cognitive capacities, it is still a machine. Yeah. Machine not think without any moral intention. As such, machine cannot be held morally accountable in the same sense as human. This article recommends that humanities education needs to integrate ethical understanding and responsibility in the context of human-technology interaction. Humanities education curriculum design also needs to consider interdisciplinary and transdisciplinary approaches as an effort to provide solutions tools for problems that could potentially arise in the post-human era. That's all, and thank you. Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Yeah.
Thank
Okay.
you, Father.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ferdinandus, for the presentation. Your very inspiring article and giving us a new understanding of artificial intelligence that is quite dominating most elements of human life. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you all enjoy and follow this presentation well. Let us give a big round of applause to Mr. Ferdinandus. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, we will be allowed to ask questions and give feedback to both speakers after the second speaker has presented her paper. But we still waiting for Miss Helena. Miss Helena, have you joined us yet? If you hear my voice, please say hello.
We have to ask Father Peter about Helena's presence.
Okay.
Because she is isn't here. It's 1 hour late.
Okay, Father.
Mhm.
We still concerned with Father Peter about Mr. Helena presence. Miss.
We can we move on to the next presenter, and then where Helena come, she can present this paper, I think.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much, Father Patrice, for your suggestion. I think I could be better if some of you or all of you participants maybe you find something confused or something interest that you will be to consume more deeply with our first speakers. The voice is yours. We're still waiting for Miss Helena presence in our group. Miss Helena, can you hear my voice? Okay, my dear brothers and sisters, allow me to give some question for Mr. Ferdinandus Jehalut. I think there are many interesting things that I get from your presentation. Honestly, your presentation is so good, and I get some new understanding to enrich me about the artificial intelligence, and I think it's a good presentation. On this opportunity, let me ask you a question. I'm interested to know more about what you mean by AI innovation is encouraging a philosophical paradigm shift about human beings in your abstract, which is started in your article. What are your reasons for thinking that AI has the potential to shift the philosophical paradigm of human beings? And what are your concerns for the future if AI will replace what is substantial in humans? Thank you. Mr. Fernandez, can you hear my voice? Hello, everyone.
Okay, maybe the next question or just one question or any other questions again?
Hello.
Check.
Question for the first presenter. Hello, moderator.
Yeah, I hear your voice, Father.
I ask you, is this a opportunity to ask question or?
Okay. With pleasure, Father. You can to ask some question.
This may be some thought from the presenter. You mentioned some ism about humanity. There is posthumanism, post-anthropocentrism. But I think there is some ism. Maybe you should address in this research. How do you think about transhumanism? Transhumanism. Is it something, I think it's something better. It's not just post-human, but it's transhuman. What do you think about it? Post-humanism or transhumanism? It's kind of like a struggle to making better technology for the humanity. So it's transhumanity or transhumanism. What do you think, Mr. Jehalu?
I'm sorry, Father Patrice, and also first presenter, Mr. Ferdinandus, because I think Miss Anna already presents with us here. So maybe our questions that addressed to Mr. Ferdinandus will be we can you will allow to answer after Miss Helena present her presentation. But I think you already get the points of the questions, right? Okay. Again, I say hello and welcome for Miss Helena. Can you hear my voice?
Good morning, loud and clear.
Okay. Welcome, Miss Helena Rea.
Yeah, thank you. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. How's your life?
Good morning, sister. No, none.
Okay. Okay, dear brothers and sisters, Miss Helena Rea is here present with us in this meeting room. So let allow me to present and introduce herself.
Okay. Well, good morning, everybody. It's great pleasure
No.
to join this
No,
event
sorry,
again.
Miss Helena. I mean, I would like to introduce yourself. It's my
Do you
pleasure
want
to
to
introduce
introduce
yourself.
myself, or you
Let
will
her introduce
introduce me?
herself. She is well known.
Okay.
So let her.
I wasn't really clear. Oh, go
No,
ahead.
are you ready to present your identity to others?
Okay, go on.
Okay. Sorry, okay. Miss Helena Rea is an accomplished professional with 20 years of experience in journalism and communication within the development sector. Since joining BBC Media Action in 2012, she serves as the head of projects overseeing initiatives focused on media development, social impact, behavioral change communication, and project viability. She holds a Master of Philosophy degree at Philosophy School of Giryakara, Jakarta, and a bachelor's degree in Japanese literature. This time, Miss Helena will present to us her entitled Rethinking Humanities Education, the Post-Human Era. So let us welcome her with a round of applause. I give you 15 to 20 minutes to present your paper. The
Okay.
voice is yours.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everybody. Apologize for such misinformations between us. So I went through just trying to introduce myself, but yeah, this is good to be introduced. And I'm familiar with some of the people here. Mr. Lumen Veritatis, we were in the same panel last year. So it's such a pleasure to meet you again. And also, it's just such a great pleasure as well meeting many new faces here in this group. And I don't know. I think in the last 1 year, there's a lot of things that's happening in the spheres of artificial intelligence. So when Father Peter asked me, "Would you like to join these conversations again this time and talk about artificial intelligence?" and I said, like, I can, but I think I'm more I'm not really expert in education. I'm not expert in that. I think my field has been on a public opinion, perceptions, and anything related to the media work. So to some extent, it's kind of public knowledge. But um, specifically speaking about how AI has a big influence on education schemes, probably I'm not the right person to speak. I think it will be a kind of interesting discussions among all of us, how we are going to talk about this and how we are going to reflect that in our daily life. And probably I'm just part of the persons that going to speak here from the public perceptions aspect. But in this for the today conversations, I'm not going to talk about how media and AI works in shaping public knowledge, for example. I can do that, but I think it's very happening. But I'd like to bring us more into an analytical aspect within ourselves on how is AI have influenced us to some extent. And I've prepared a presentation, but it's very much focused on Rollo as a person and as a philosopher that I took as a kind of standing point theoretical aspects in this today conversation. And I'm probably going through a very little about Rollo, but I think there's no such a a kind of standpoint alone from the theoretical perspective on the philosophical aspects on AI, because it's an emerging technology, and it's affected all of us. We've still seen it from two aspects: the good aspect of the technology and then a bad aspect of this technology. And most of us, because we're still in the shocking period, and I think all of us experience that AI, Chat GPT, AI already been exist for like the last 20 years, but all of us just realized and how massive and influential this AI is after the ChatGPT was launched in 2021 and 2020. In fact, so let's give us a little bit of perspective. All the theoretical aspect before that lay the foundations of human psychological aspect or human being relationship aspect, or from the psychological aspect, ethics aspect, what other aspect? Yeah, scientific aspect. All is emerging. It's following what's going on that is defined not only by us but also by the AI itself. So the question is really, are we really looking down the line that AI is going to lead the whole conversation, or are we having a little bit of dignity within us as a thinking animals or a thinking individual persona that also involved in the part of emerging of our knowledge as well? So I think that's kind of conversations that has been part of all our yes. I am. Hang on, I'm just going to send the presentation here. Here. So this is the reasons why I was thinking maybe I'm just going to the misinformation context. So I in this process, when I'm starting really looking and really going deep into the what kind of AI that really can influence the public perceptions, our relationship, our life, and the deep impact. It's not on our daily habits and how we accessing AI and how we utilizing it. I don't know which stage of all of you in your relationship with AI, but what I'm going to say here is not only that AI, the way how we use AI, but I think it's more subtle impact of how AI has been used massively, and the end product of this AI utilization advancement is the misinformation context. So in this, there's a very interesting book that I've read, and this is why I chose this particular aspect on the misinformation, is because that's a very interesting book called The Psychology of Misinformation. And I think this maybe all of us were to read that. And in this book, the writer wrote a lot about the aspect of misinformation, and I think in a kind of summary, it says like misinformation is a product of subconscious activity. So we basically didn't aware, because words that and algorithms are designed in a very specific ways for us, and mislead us to some extent, and how we accessing and understanding information without knowing it. We've become part of the distributor actors in that misinformation, and that's spreading the misinformation not only between us and our peers, but also large society, because of the space of the social media that we are using to distribute those informations. And in this misinformation context, I go to this kind of Rollomay's thinking is that he was very positive. I think it's also because he was born in the era where technology has become a kind of illuminating in every aspects of human beings. Rolomay was born in 1909. This is where the beginning of 19th, 20th century. and everything is about technology is just about emerging at the time, with the find of bulb lights and telegrams and all those kinds of basic technologies, communications at the time. So I think he sees the technology as a kind of illuminations process for human being and extending human entity in the world. And he is specialized in psychologist, existentialist, and of course, all his theories is based on the long-lasting experience of how human brains works and how human minds works. And this is the reasons and the base of the theory that I took to understand what is going on in human brains and understanding the misinformations. So just to go quickly, I think I'm a little bit here and there before we go back to the context of misinformation, just to understand a little bit about the Rollo May's concept is that he is absolutely, like many of us right now, really concerned about how this technology it's going to be relevant within our life, and in the age where digital communications, and in particular with the whole social media aspect, is just not shortcut our way of communications. It's not only make it very fast and forward, but it's also make it very personate to whatever, to some extent it's divining our existentials as well in the eyes of other people through social media. So in this context, we probably didn't always we probably not always been so critical on what informations we want to believe. There's always an aspect within ourselves that make it our subconscious lost in mind, lost in the way of our thinking. Because I think the other aspect of why and misinformation, and this is also written in that book, The Psychology of Misinformation, is it's not only about the volume of information that spread among people and how algorithm using that big data, large language model, and utilizing it and personalize that into the way we want to consume that information, but also in the way that it's also it's bringing back to our radicalized our aspect and our thinking. And sorry, excuse me. And I think in that the bottom line of this Rollo May aspect is that linking to misinformations and disinformations, it's really something rooted in ourselves psychologically, and we probably always, I don't know, maybe this is a new area. This is like understanding how psychological aspect bringing our subconscious, and for us to understand better about why we are confused about when we are accessing one information, and why do we want to believe one person and not the others, and why, for example, for Sister Camila, for example, if she speaks about something, I would believe her rather than someone else talk about it. So this is all related to many things, but deep down it's related to what our belief is, the core of social norms that we've been brought up with. And also the last one is that, the ideas of knowledge and understandings for us, and on unknown knowledge and informations that we want to understand. So I want to come clean before I go on understanding and explain more about Rollo May. Is when I studied philosophy, and I only studied philosophy, and I took my master's degree. Before it wasn't. I didn't study philosophy until 2018. And when I studied philosophy in Triakara University, Direct High School of Philosophy, there are only two persons that I studied deeply, probably a little bit deeply, on a psychological aspect, which is Carl Jung and Freud. And many of that's a little bit Merleau-Ponty as well in that. But those two only psychologists that that become philosophers, psychologists become philosophers, that we had a chance to study it, because there's so many philosophers and psychologists, philosophers in this world. And I think that's the reason. That's also the basic thinker that many other philosophers that follow. And May, to some extent, it's following the thinking of Freud. So if all of us already studied Freud, then to some extent in the discussions later on, we want to see the correlations in between. I think it will be enhance my knowledge as well, and also my deep understandings about how the philosophical networks in understanding and the thinking and understanding human behavior. And so this is just a kind of a little bit general concept on existentialism. So this is part of our existentialism, but in the book that I read of Rollo May, I only able to read 2 books because it's very deep on the practical aspects of the psychology. So in this book, he's copying a lot of Kierkegaard actually in understanding human behavior. It's quite surprised because if anybody understands more or have a little bit extensive knowledge about Kierkegaard and Nietzsche and nihilism, I think this is something that probably can spark our discussions later on as well on how this is have an influential relationship with Rollo May's thinking, because I think they're all not in the same age, in the same era of developing their thinking period. I think Nietzsche, it's way forward, but Rollo May and Kierkegaard, they are at least in the same phase of developing of their own theoretical concept. So in the Rollo May concept of there are 3 aspects. So the psychological aspect, and which is the existentialisms of psychological. So what Rollo May stated is that we are constantly grappled in the our world of existence. So it's a kind of constant questions within ourselves to evaluate our beliefs and shaping our understandings ourselves. And this is explained a lot in the way how Rollo May is and in the way, actually, if we are going to reflect on ourselves, and I think this is have a long effect on how misinformation is constantly shaking our beliefs, because this is a kind of large major aspect that we are in our silence. Most of our connections to the outer world through the social media is through our mobile phone. And that's actually in the kind of loneliness we are linking to all these, evaluate persons. But the problem is we don't in silence anymore when we do the reflections. We don't use the loneliness, which is one of the thinking that Rollo may argue, is that when you want to do your reflections on questioning about your freedom in more reflective way, you need to be alone. But we never be really left alone. But I think maybe I think this is something that's very interesting, because you don't really find yourself if there's so much noises around, and that's exactly the dispute and confusions around AI and all these big informations and massive flooded informations that constantly diverse our reflections result in ourselves, and we always in the edge of questioning whether we already arrived in the end of conclusions and understandings about who we are as a person. And existentialism, according to Rollo May, it reminds us on our individual responsibility to divine ourselves. So this is the whole concept about Rollo May. And May's core belief, it's there's a couple of stages, but this is really on the stages where he is doing while he's doing his therapeutic psychological assistance. Basically, he came up with this kind of process in human beings when they are thinking. And please always reflect that how these big informations, the AI, it really really affect us. And I think this is the times when we're questioning which stages we are. If looking from the base of the Rollo May's theory here, which stages that we are thinking that probably linking to our behavior and our understandings and our form of our existentialism with the states. Which stage is that? So whether this is in the stage of innocence, existential crisis, the states of rebellion, the states of ordinary, or the states of creativity. And I'm just going to go through, giving a little bit more deep explanations about each stages. Is that simply because I think this is where I'm going to stop, and then I leave a room little bit for us to explore. And it's kind of I think on the stage of each stages. Hang on, I'm just going through. On the stage of existential crisis, for example, that anyone can experience existential crisis. That's no question. We all going through some period of our life that we are questioning what the meaning of ourselves, among other peoples, for ourselves, for other people, for society at large. And my insight in my thinking is really navigating the challenges that the human beings facing in their life, and to strive more for an authentic and fulfilling existence. And I haven't really gone through into the thinking and how this is linking to Kierkegaard's way of belief on ethical values and on authenticism. I think this is something that probably we wouldn't have to really, okay, if you want to see that from philosophers' perspective, that's fine. But I think this is really going deep into our own thinking as well. And from the innocence aspect, in this part where, that Rollo may argue is that, basic instincts such as hunger, thirst, and the desire for safety, this is the kind of driver for, idealizations of human thinking. And inevitably develop sense of self begins questions their place in the world. And the stage of rebellion, it's as a kind of, in this kind of rebellion, it's kind of solid foundations that need to be established and self-understanding. So to some point in the rebellion, probably individuals may struggle to navigate the complexities of adulthood and may engage in self-destructions and behaviors. And I think this is the reasons also why social media has been restricted, unless you are 16 or 15, you're going through part of your adulthood, childhood ways of life, then you can actually engage in this kind of virtual communication. And that's why many people are not recommended that those who are using social media are below 15 years old. But I think in our societies, this kind of, not normal. So we have created new norms that even your child, when they are still a baby, or they have their own account in the name of popularity. So this kind of rebellion is part of, influencing the future of human beings' behavior. And in the state of ordinary, this is characterized by the desire to fit and be accepted by others. And in this ordinary, it's really allowed that, can someone feel that they are belong to some other societies and their families, or can their personal growth been accepted by others as well? So this kind of questions, and people start to feel this is also impact and the influences leading to the dissatisfactions as well. And this may reflect a lot in our relationship with, when we are accessing the big data. I mean, yes, AI providing a lot of opportunities in how we are, getting information and stuff like that. But there's also of questions, validations, understandings of whether you can provide a distinct list of your knowledge access through the data. So I'm not questioning whether this help you or not. Yeah, many people are being very, very helpful with this knowledge that easily they can access through AI, for example. But there's always the questions, critical thoughts. So is it the right way to do it? And did you get the whole information that you built? And is it relevant to whatever it is that you think you need and you want to know? So those kind of self-independency part of this kind of stage of creativity. And in this stage of creativity is that, you want to be seen as a person that have a strong individuality, living authentically, and contributing meaningfully to the world. So if your way of thinking already been navigating and a lot in accessing information, I wouldn't surprise if you are part of these schemes of misinformations, disinformations, and even you're lost yourself in the ability to just affirming your misbelief into someone else's misbelief, and then in the end it's creating a chaos society that always lead to whether you questioning to what extent yourself being part of this madness of society. I think there's a lot of terms that coming also from Freud's idea. But again, I think I want to stop the discussions here or my presentations here. I prepare about 16 pages of slides about Rollomaze, but again, I don't want our discussions at all. Discussions not only stop in the idea of Rollomaze. It's just kind of bridging knowledge on to understand more what if it's ourselves. But what Rollomaze proposing here is our self-reflections and our angst and our anxiety, our freedom, our responsibilities, and how do we see and shape a self as part of shape our society. And with that, I would like to give back to our moderator for the discussions, and please bring in any ideas. Just don't think that you can ask me as a source of information here, because I think there are many other experts here, and I would like this to digging down more on the reflections aspect rather than me as a person who knows everything in this conversation. So with that, over to you, Mr. Eko.
Thank you so much, Ms. Now, for sharing your knowledge in the presentations. Let's show our appreciation by giving big applause for Ms. Helena. Thank you so much, Ms.
Thank you.
Okay.
Likewise.
Ms. Helena has been kind enough to share her critical views on misinformation is becoming an alarm concern for society and poses a serious challenge to public trust and social networks. Brothers and sisters, now is the perfect time for you to ask questions, respond to our two speakers, both on Mr. Fernandez and also Miss Helena. Or perhaps you would like to share your ideas about our theme this morning. The time is yours.
I think it's
Any questions?
Febronia. Yeah. I can't really see it all. I can help you with, who's questioning it.
Yeah, Febronia is raising hand.
Febronia.
Okay, moderator, Febronia is raising hand. You may.
Well, yeah, Febronia.
Hello, good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Hola.
Mr. Len, I'm
Miss
really.
Brunia.
Sorry, I'm Febronia. Actually, I'm not studying philosophy, but I'm really interested in this. I'm really interested in this seminar. And Miss Helena, your presentation is so great and really get my curiosity. I work in environmental sectors, and I'm dealing with misinformation every day in my work. My challenge is in this digital era. It's sometimes we as scientists of or environmental practitioners lose our power or ability to communicate science effectively to either decision or general. We face challenge in which people tend to believe more in AI without information checking.
Yeah.
And sometimes we don't have enough room for correct the misinformation or give a chance to provide scientific fact. So my question is, do in this era we lost
Can you just mute Mr. Romulus Silan? Carry on. Sorry.
sorry.
Yeah.
My question is, do human paradigm change in this era of digital era in which we have to dealing with a tsunami of information, and how can we control information that we consume? Because in my field, how people consume information shape their perspective. In specific in the awareness of environmental problems, and it will influence how we build collaboration or partnership in solve the environmental problems. Maybe that the question. Thank you for your answer.
Yes, thank you so much. Can I just directly answer, Mr. Moderator? Is it okay if I just carry on answering?
Okay, with pleasure. If you will get points of the question,
Yeah,
you
no
going to
problem.
answer.
I get it. Yeah. Thank you, Miss Febronia, Mr. Febronia. I think that's a very good reflections on the current. It's a kind of deep existential issues right now in terms of misinformation, and I would answer this in the two ways. The number one, from the basic experiences that how my work also affected this kind of concept, and then the second one from moralized perspective. And I'm open to everybody just to contributing, because I think this is really the reality of our existential problems in now in this era. So I'm very struck with your fact that you mentioned in your word you are prone to the misinformation's effect, and the problem is that's very little room for you or your colleagues or your institutions to correct that information. So there are a couple of studies that have already been developed now on the effect of how people accessing misinformations, and a very fundamental questions whether they believe the misinformations and whether they want to be corrected in their belief of informations. So this is really rooted down in the kind of belief systems. And in the last 6 months, in my work, we've been working on understanding why people accessing misinformations and why misinformation is spreading easily among people. And it's so sad that the reality is that it's because people living in their bubbles, and within their bubbles there are some sort of social norms that evolve between them, and whatever it is that throwing information on the digital spheres in the social media platforms. that they don't always have a kind of self-responsibilities to what extent that their people accessing their information. And this is go back really bad on the kind of, many in the old times, people use information in the part of propaganda, in the war zone of information. So we are in the war zone information, so to speak. But in the reality that even though, and then in this misinformation, why it's really rooting and why people access it easily, because it's very simple. We don't teach ourselves to always critics, to always have a critical thinking, in the way how we don't train that. And we've never been trained to do that, because we don't have this knowledge basic thinking that you're always questioning whatever information that you are accessing. And that shows in our studies, and that shows in this book that I hope I can share with you, because but they didn't publish ebook yet. But I think this is a worth reading paper about the psychological of misinformation. It's because it's rooting in in people's belief, and then they don't want to be corrected. Believe it or not, from the study shows that from a total of people that they survey whether they want to be corrected on the information or not, only 3% wanted to be corrected on their information. Why is that? Because they don't want to be corrected majority. So 97% refuse that informations to be corrected. So your challenge is that why it's very difficult to influence the public perceptions with the corrective information is because people doesn't want to be corrected. They don't want to say, it's like, who are you? Trying to divine that my way of thinking is more right than the others. And the only institutions are legitimate to do that is actually school. You can, teachers, they can correct their students' way of thinking because it's a legitimate aspect. Lawyers can correct their other people thinking about how law works because it's a legitimate aspect. So it's really based on the needs of experiences and expertise. And there are a couple of ways in the how this book, the psychology, they suggested. Number one, you do this kind of constant corrective information, despite whether people take it or not, because the end product that you want to follow or you want to happening is that people take it as a new norm. And eventually, if you are keep knocking, eventually it will be open up their acceptance. So it's just a matter of consistently building that kind of relationship, navigate what is truth, because over time it's going to be explained anyway. And then the second is that we need to build a kind of social cohesion, social networks within ourselves, because among people, we always constantly looking for validation. But at the same time, we probably, I think it's very worth, I think it's happening in the congregation, like the pastors or nuns, I really looked at, because one of my sisters, she's a nun, and when she turned on the 25th years of her celebrations as a nun, she went for a deep silent of reflections about the choices that she chose to be a nun, for the rest of her life, for example. And I think this kind of moment and reflect, that you reflect back, on your anxiety, on your choices, on your loneliness. It's not always come as a dark side aspect of human existential. It's actually the good aspect, and this is where Rolome came in. Is that that anxiety, loneliness is a product of self-reflection, and if you are thinking in the way that building yourself to more thinking more cohesively, deeply, you probably come out with some kind of, good result of your self-reflections. So we're probably always thinking like, anxiety, it's kind of bad aspect, but it's not really is, according to Rolome. It's actually a way of how you're dealing with your pain and come out good. So I think maybe all of us, I mean, like, don't worry to share your, deep dark knowledge on social media, as long as you know how it affects other people, because you're not alone. In the end of the day, all your act or your words or your whatever you say is a social responsibilities to others as well. It has an effect. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Len.
Yeah.
Yes. The response from Father Patrice.
No. I just to inform you about FIFO because I am asking her or he to change his name or her name. She insists on FIFO. Okay, FIFO is raising hand.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay,
Mr. Moderator,
for
can I
the next opportunity, I give the occasion for Sister Camila CB to ask the question.
Thanks you for the opportunity. I'm Sister Leonardine CB. What I want to ask about the material from Miss Helena about how do we identify the source reliable information to prevent misinformation. Thank you.
Sorry, it came very broken to me. I apologize. Can you repeat the question, please?
What
Please slowly and louder your voice.
Sorry, I apologize.
How do we identify the source reliable information to prevent misinformation? Thank you, Miss.
Oh, that's a very good question. Thank you so much. I think, okay, I don't want to answer in soul this question, but I'd like to start the answer. And I'd like this to be, let's do this exercise a little bit that, everybody don't be shy to answer this a very reflective question. And I think we are going down now, which is that's my goal, is for us to start listening to ourselves and questioning ourselves. And I think, thank you, Sister Camila. I think this is a very deep reflections question that you just throw out to all of us and start thinking deeply in ourselves. And I'm going to start answering it. Okay, but I would love to everybody else to also, answering how actually do you identify whether this is misinformation. And I'd like to add one more question. And how do you do the self-corrections if you find that information is wrong? How do you do that? So I'd like to add that additional question to Sister Camila's original question. And I think that's a very good and interesting way for us to exercise the thinking right now. How do I identify there's some misinformation? Sorry. Yeah. First of all, I think it's based on our knowledge, So I happen to, just because I work in the media sector, I read a lot and studied philosophy is helping me to understand better, the way of people thinking. So I think that's the kind of knowledge that I'm bringing into the way how I classify the informations, like, which one is, this is actually not thinking, this is a very much personal opinions in there, or this is based on the knowledge of stories. But most importantly, when you see the information, you have to define whether there is a kind of knowledge in that, whether it is contributing to your social norms, and whether this is right in your perspective. Right or wrong is really based on whatever it is that you take in as your personal norms. It can starting from ethics, or it can start from religions, ethics, all those kinds are included. And then the third one is always constant to the original resource of information. So if you are saying that this person's probably copying from the news, you have to go to a normal news, like, the media that give you that information. If not, bringing that back, this is going to the next questions. How you actually restores that information? So what you do is discuss within your circle and questioning it. You don't have to come up with an end final answer because there's no such an end final answers when it comes to the discourse. So I think validation is very important, and knowing who you validate with that information, it's also a kind of signs of maturity in how you're assessing information. So that's my answer. Maybe other people have other opinion.
Mr. Moderator, can I answer two questions first?
Yes, great.
Yeah, yeah. Really, I say apologize for Mr. Ferdinandus
Yeah. Okay.
and also
No
the
problem.
participants. Some important information that you have to know that, before Miss Helena joined with us. We have two questions that addressed to Mr. Ferdinand.
Oh, okay. Go on.
Question
Sorry.
from me, and the second question from Father Patrice Legro.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Moderator.
So this time I give to Mr. Ferdinand to answer the questions.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Moderator. First question is why AI makes philosophical paradigm shift? Yeah. Okay. I think that the paradigm shift occurred because AI was found to have the ability to think, innovate, and act like human. Yeah. While in traditional humanism claims, yeah, only humans can think, yeah, and innovate. Humans are considered the most special creators because of the capacity. Yeah. Now this privilege is no longer considered to exist. Yeah? So the basic question is, what is the basic human reference? What is the differentia specifica of humans compared with other entities? Yeah. Traditional humanism, according to Braidotti, is also very Eurocentric, yeah, masculine and patriarchal. I think that Braidotti alleges that the mass slaughter of millions of Jews actually stem from this perspective here. And at this context, I think that humanism, Renaissance, and Enlightenment became a new myth. Yeah, the humans who are considered special are Eurocentrists, and male. Yeah, who become the human is male. Yeah? In fact, if we look at it, the view of human privilege originally came from Greeks, yeah, like Protagoras' ideas, yeah. And the second one about transhumanism and posthumanism, yeah, the difference of transhumanism and posthumanism. Transhumanism, in my opinion, is more concerned with the practical effects of the proliferation of technology in the form of AI that creates inequality between those who can access it and those who cannot access it. Transhumanism also highlights how AI-driven robotica can replace human in many fields. These innovations could create a lot of unemployment. Yeah. And also posthumanism emphasizes more on the decentralized aspect of humans and the loss of boundaries between humans and machine. Yeah. On the other hand, transhumanism is a philosophical and social movement that advocates for the use of technology, yeah, to enhance human physics and cognitive abilities. Yeah. Transhumanists believe that by harnessing advancements in fields like biotechnology, yeah, artificial intelligence, and genetic engineering, we can surpass the limitation of our biological condition. Yeah. So the posthumanism while sometimes overlapping with transhumanism, yeah, goes a step further. Yeah. Posthumanism refers to a state or concept of being, yeah, beyond what we currently define as human, yeah, or humanism traditional definition of human, yeah. Rather than simply enhancing human traits, posthumanism suggests the possibility of a new kind of existence altogether, yeah, one that might not adhere to our current understanding of what it means to be human. This might involve becoming integrated with AI, yeah, existing primary in virtual worlds, or evolving to the point where our consciousness of our identity is vastly different from what we know today. Yeah, and some key information, maybe some difference, key differences. First one, aim of transhumanism and posthumanism. Transhumanism is about enhancing human attributes, while maintaining our core identity as humans. Posthumanism, on the other hand, however, entertains the idea of transcending the human form and identity, potentially creating beings or entities that don't resemble humanity as we know it. The scope in second one, transhumanism generally focus on improving individual capacities. Posthumanism is broader, addressing fundamental shifts in identity, consciousness, and existence beyond biological constraints. And the next is a philosophical orientation. Transhumanism has a more practical technological orientation, aimed at solving human issues and enhancing quality of life. Posthumanism, however, is more theoretical and speculative, explore the consequence of a world where human may no longer be a primary reference point. So I think that's all, and thank you. And I want to give applause for Miss Helena, for your best presentation today.
Oh,
Okay, thank you, Mr. Meda. Congratulations, Miss. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for your answer, Mr. Ferdinandus.
You're welcome, Father.
Okay, thank you so much for Mr. Ferdinandus. Okay, some people already raise hand. I give the opportunity for Brother Petrus Nandi. Please turn on your speaker and your camera and give your answer.
Hello.
Hello, Brother Petrus Nandi.
Okay,
Please.
thank you, Miss.
Turn on your camera.
Okay, thank you.
Before
I turn it
I
on.
give you a chance to give your questions, my dear participants, it is possible for you to ask questions in Bahasa or Indonesian language, and it is not restricted for the speakers to answer questions also in Bahasa, so that the idea and the substance of the questions can be understand to the questioner. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank
The
you.
voice is yours, Brother Petrus Landis.
Thank you, Mr. Echo. I have turned on my phone, and now I wanna give my question to Mrs. Helena. But before it, let me give my appreciation to Mr. Ferdinandus Jahalut and Mrs. Helena, who already given their good and great presentation that already offers us some inputs. And now my question is, goes to Mrs. Helena. What does Rollo May mean when he talks about the concept of misinformation? Because honestly, I want to say that I still confused with the concept of misinformation. So is that a social phenomena, or a stage of error, or a cognitive condition of any person? And correlating with the grand theme of our conference, my question is how AI and education respond to the misinformation. That's all, and thank you.
yeah. Sorry,
Thank you
my
so much,
battery.
Brother
Hang on, my
Petrus Nandi.
battery is low.
Your question goes to Miss Helena.
Yeah.
Miss Helena, do you get the points of the questions?
Yeah, I got a point. It's really great questions indeed. Thank you so much. Whose question? Father, this is brother or brother or father?
Student. He is
Student.
student.
Yeah, that's a really good
Yeah,
question.
he's Croatian missionaries.
Yeah. So I'm just going to answer very quickly, so then we have a chance to listen from others as well. Misinformation is a way of how we understand information. So there are three aspects from that. Yeah. So number one is our cognitive ability. Of course, this is how we learn to absorb some informations. And then the second one, it's about it's something that coming from within us and something coming from other people who are posting those misinformation. So general consensus, misinformation means that how people put informations out there subconsciously unknown that this is actually a wrong information. So they didn't know. They think from the words and everything, this is the right information without doing a further validations about whether the information is right or not. So they are mistakenly. So it's not on purpose that they put those informations out there without knowing that information is right or not. That's misinformation. Disinformation means that by all means, when a person's put informations out there, they know the information is already wrong, but they still put the informations out there anyway. And this is happening a lot during the election because it's part of the propaganda strategy. But with misinformation, it's something that more like, you don't really know. You without acknowledge that information is actually wrong. But because by culture, you know that information is already known for so long without base of a verification, and then you share that information. You put in the public space, being accessed by other people. But actually, this is misinformation. So that's a general consensus. And according to Rollo May doesn't really speak on the specific aspects. This is something that we want to actually analyzing from a psychological aspect, existential aspect, why people distribute misinformation and what sort of phenomenon been understanding and how people have to dealing with all these misinformations. So there are fundamental questions about whether this is about existential aspect, whether those misinformations or if you are being part in the schemes of misinformations, how much it will define your existential. So can you believe, like, okay, maybe you can imagine, just to give a kind of perspective here, context, that when you are in that situations of, you are spreading bad informations, you lost the directions to what is right and what is truth. And to some extent, it's probably changing the social norms that already exist before. And that's where shaken or earthquake of existential become, in your persona. And I think what is interesting to see from Rollo May here is the aspect that, people always find that when they are lost in the misinformation, they become confused, they become anxiety, they feel like they are lonely, and this is something that we want to argue. So you need those kind of confusions in yourself. You don't stay away. Don't think this is kind of a psychological mistaken within ourselves. But according to Rollo May, this is the way how you basically questioning and deep in dive on the basic arrays of self-awareness, and when you are finding yourself or being illuminated with the constant questions, and you'll arrive to the model. In the reality, we only have 3 seconds to identify in the social media whether that information that you see in your friends' social media, in your friend stories, or you only have 3 seconds to identify you want to believe or not. you want to redistribute it or not. You only have those 3 seconds. So always remember that those are an emerging, a very important 3 seconds. You better decided that, okay, I will never reshare that without really believe whether this is something that I want other people to know or not, without validated that myself. Those are so-called is a very lonely situation because you have to divide yourself, feeling so lonely that nobody else in your surrounding can decide whether this information is very right or not. Unless if you are in the social circle, you can probably bringing that to the question. So always have this delay after 3 seconds to answer that. And this is something that is actually psychologically proved, so this is not only like, you only have we always have a kind of immediate responsive when we see informations. And I think this is where we will have to learn that, being confused about the informations and take some moments to understand that information is a very important phase. And that's why I chose Rollo May, because it's reflect really, really deeply in how we actually dealing with informations, with the tsunami of informations, according to Nia before. So I think that's it. Maybe other people have a kind of reflections. I'm very happy to hear as well. I think maybe as moderator, I like to hear from Father Lumains as well, how this, deep self experience, because this is something all of us experience. I don't really think this is, simply point is one theoretical aspect only, because this is human experiences in the last, I think it's become massively exploded after the chat GPT. So worth to reflect.
Okay, Mr. Moderator, can I give some commentaries for this question?
Yes.
Okay, with pleasure.
Okay. First one, I want to say that AI can be an agent and producer of this information. We can see in the Cambridge Analytica case where the data of millions of Facebook users was used for the purpose of targeted political advertising. This operates through the mechanism of AI. And the second one, I want to clear some terms. First one, misinformation, and the second, disinformation, and the last is malinformation. Actually, three terms is very different. First one, if we say misinformation, it means that information that is false, but the disseminator does not know that is false. In Indonesia, jadi informasi itu salah, tetapi yang menyebarkan tidak tahu bahwa informasi itu salah. Itu yang disebut dengan misinformation. And the second one, disinformation. Disinformation is the information is false, spread by people who know it is the false, and people who produce and spread it for the purpose of misleading. Jadi informasi itu salah, disebarkan oleh orang yang mengetahui bahwa informasi itu salah, dan yang menyebarkan dan memproduksi itu memang sengaja memproduksi dan menyebarkan itu untuk tujuan menyesatkan. Itu yang disebut dengan disinformation. And the last one is malinformation. Malinformation is information that has some truth values but is spread for the purpose of misleading. Jadi informasi itu memiliki sedikit nilai kebenaran, tetapi sengaja disebarkan untuk tujuan menyesatkan. Okay, that's all, and thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ferdinandus, for your great inspiration and idea. I think it's so enrich the statement of Miss Helena. I think that our discussions are getting more and more interesting, right? Because the speakers are getting more and more encouraged to answer and give the good answer for all of us in this room that need the new inspiration for both of you, from both of you. I give the opportunity for the others in this room. Maybe you have some question some ideas, some response, or some critiques for two two speakers that has present to us their idea and also their presentation.
If they don't have a question, I have a question for them, if that's okay.
Okay. Who will
Okay.
be addressed your question?
I think anybody can answer this if they want. So it can be you, Mr. Moderator. It can be Pak Ferdinand, or it can be anybody in this group. We have 31 here, so I think it's very
Okay.
interesting. I've been doing this. I've been trying to test this with many students that I speak to at the university, and I have these questions. Do you, number one question, where and what is kind of indication? What kind of indications that you know when you read an information and this is a wrong information? And number two question is that what kind of dilemma battle in yourself when you find that information you subsequently trying to hold on and not trying to share that information because you have that dilemma, and what the indications that you know you have that dilemma on the informations you are reading, or you are here, or you are watch, or you are experienced. So I have that two questions. If anybody would like to answer, you can translate that if it's a lot easier for everybody to understand. Go ahead. I'm interested to hear.
Yeah, thank you so much. I think it's a good question from Miss Helena, but really apologize because I cannot hear your voice clearly. So please repeat again your questions with louder voice and
Maybe with
slowly.
bahasa, maybe I'm become worse when I'm speaking too long English and change to bahasa Indonesia.
Okay, with pleasure.
Ya, it's very hard. Apa indikasi ketika Anda mengakses informasi bahwa informasi itu keliru? Itu apa indikasinya? How do you identify that? That ya. Lalu yang kedua, apakah Anda itu going through a kind of dilemma? Jadi apakah punya proses dilema untuk memproses informasi itu untuk sampai pada keputusan bahwa ini informasinya benar atau ini informasinya salah, and then you come up with a decision.
Okay, Mr. Moderator, can I give some response?
Great.
Okay, with pleasure, Mister, but I need some response from other people here because it looks so
Okay.
sangat it looks so tidak masif, tapi banyak yang tidak terlibat rupanya.
Yeah.
Mungkin sinyal, mungkin ya, barangkali karena sinyal ya.
Anyone who will be the first or the second to answer the question? Okay, Mr. Ferdinandus, I give the chance for you to give your response based on the question that Miss Helena gave us.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Moderator. Because it is about digital skills, I think that it's better for me to explain it in Indonesia ya. Jadi karena ini berkaitan dengan skill kecakapan digital, jadi sebaiknya saya menjelaskannya dalam bahasa Indonesia supaya bisa dimengerti dengan baik ya.
Yeah.
Jadi pertanyaan soal bagaimana caranya supaya kita bisa membedakan informasi ini palsu dan informasi ini tidak. Kebetulan saya studi S2-nya tentang komunikasi digital ya. Jadi ada beberapa sebenarnya karakteristik disinformasi itu. Yang pertama, kalimatnya dimulai dengan judul yang heboh ya, kalau di berita ya. Kemudian berlebih-lebihan, provokatif dan diakhiri dengan tanda seru atau tanda baca yang hiperbolis ya. Begitu. Yang kedua, huruf kapital digunakan secara serampangan dan kadang-kadang menggunakan warna mencolok. Itu karakteristiknya. Yang ketiga, kualitas foto dan grafisnya buruk ya. Kemudian keempat, mencatatkan lembaga atau figur publik, padahal orang atau lembaga atau figur publik itu tidak pernah mengatakan apa yang dia tulis di situ atau yang dia informasikan di situ. Maka kita perlu mengecek itu di media arus utama. Ya. Kemudian yang ketiga, isinya kadang tidak masuk, bukan kadang, sering tidak masuk akal ya. Yang berikut, dukungan buktinya palsu atau tidak dapat dilacak ya, tidak dapat diverifikasi ya, karena kita pakai term-term filosofis ya. Kemudian tidak muncul di media berita arus utama. Dan saat ini sebenarnya ada situs untuk cek fakta ya. Ya, ada situs untuk cek fakta. Sebenarnya saya bisa tunjukkan ke teman-teman di sini. Hanya problemnya begini, situs cek fakta ini hanya bisa mengecek fakta dari berbagai sumber. Tiap hari itu hanya 500 sampai 600 berita. Ya. Nah, sementara tingkat produksi hoax di media sosial atau di internet saat ini jauh melampaui itu. Jadi situs cek fakta itu memiliki keterbatasan. Keterbatasan kedua dengan hadirnya TikTok dan media sosial lainnya sekarang itu penyebarannya itu bisa sangat masif, dan yang jadi problematis itu ada teknologi fake ya. Dan dia kan berbasis AI juga. Itu yang jadi problem ya. AI ini bisa menjadi produser dan agen hoax juga ya. Contoh teknologi fake, bisa saja Jokowi dalam sebuah video dia berbicara tentang sesuatu, suaranya persis suara Jokowi, gerak mulutnya juga persis, tapi sebenarnya yang melakukan atau yang berbicara itu bukan Jokowi. Itu teknologi fake namanya. Dan ini tantangan kita sekarang kan, ya. Ketika AI itu berkembang begitu cepat, kita sangat sulit membedakan fakta dan bukan fakta, fakta dan hoax, kemudian kebenaran dan penyesatan ya, macam itu ya. Itu menjadi problem kita sekarang, apalagi dengan adanya TikTok sekarang itu ya, buzzer, content creator ya bisa menyebarkan itu dengan cepat, dan yang menjadi problem itu hilangnya expertise ya, the death of expertise ya, matinya kepakaran ya. Di TikTok itu kita bisa lihat banyak orang menjadi pakar di semua bidang ya, menjadi pakar di semua bidang, selalu mereka pakar, padahal yang pakar di bidang itu bukan dia, dan informasinya itu kan ketika itu menarik pengguna media sosial, mereka akan menyebarkan itu, dan distribusi hoax darinya semakin masif ya. Itu menjadi problem untuk kita dan tantangan untuk kita sekarang menurut saya ya. Jadi memang solusinya kalau dalam perspektif komunikasi digital ada beberapa skills ya. Kita harus meningkatkan digital skills, kemudian digital culture, digital ethics, and digital safety ya. Digital skills itu tentang bagaimana kita menggunakan teknologi, cakap menggunakan teknologi, paham fitur-fitur yang ada di dalamnya. Kemudian digital culture, soal budaya digital. Bagaimana kita menggunakan teknologi dengan berbasis pada nilai-nilai atau kultur keindonesiaan kita ya, untuk konteks masyarakat Indonesia. Kemudian ada digital ethics ya, berbasis nilai-nilai etis, dan digital safety. Yang ini menjadi problem di Indonesia, digital safety. Kenapa digital safety menjadi problem di Indonesia? Karena selain masalah pada pengguna sendiri, kita sendiri secara struktural, atau boleh dikatakan negara kita itu tidak punya namanya kemandirian digital, atau apa istilahnya?
Digital sovereignty.
Iya, digital sovereignty, kedaulatan digital.
Yeah.
Ya. Kita tidak punya kedaulatan digital. Itu yang jadi problem besar. Jadi digital safety kita itu sangat lemah, ya. Karena kita tidak punya kedaulatan digital. Itu that's the problem for me. Ya, oke, thank you. Ini pertanyaan yang menarik menurut saya dari Miss Helena. Thank you, Miss Helena.
Yeah.
Baik, terima kasih banyak atas. Thank you so much for your. Thank you so much for Mr. Fernandes for your very enriching input. I think it will be better if the tips are given by you, will be shared on the text for us, so we could know well about the characteristic and also identify about the true about something true and something not true. It's not true. Satu input dari saya, boleh saya berbicara? Mungkin bisa satu tambahan saja. Perlu diketahui bahwa saat ini kita berada di era yang namanya post-truth, di mana kebenaran itu melampaui satu hiperrealitas dan tidak ada kebenaran yang sifatnya mutlak. Jadi kebenaran yang disampaikan itu benar-benar diketahui oleh orang yang menyampaikannya. Jadi semua orang yang menyimak atau yang menerima informasi itu bisa saja mengetahui kebenaran ataupun tertipu lewat banyaknya modus dan juga kebenaran-kebenaran buatan yang sebenarnya masih diragukan sisi kebenarannya itu. Jadi bagi kita sekalian, mari sebelum kita memastikan bahwa media-media ataukah informasi-informasi yang kita terima dari media sosial maupun dari media cetak itu betul-betul sebuah kebenaran, maka kita harus perlu secara kritis menyimak dan juga mencerna setiap informasi yang kita terima. Terima kasih. Another question?
Ini sampai jam berapa, Pak Moderator?
Till 11:30.
Oh, 11:30, then we have a lot to discuss. Maybe I'm wondering, tadi Pak Ferdinand sudah bicara belum ya, previously? Because I think I was in the wrong room for a very long time. Sudah ya? I'm just wondering, maybe we can thinking. Huh? Signal is really.
Maksudnya yang halo?
Ada yang tanya, moderator, apakah dapat sertifikat?
Tentu apa konferensi mengharapkan bahwa setiap peserta dapat menulis namanya asli di ID meeting room masing-masing. Oh ya, satu pemberitahuan dari panitia kepada kedua pembicara, Bu Helena dan juga Pak Fernandus. Sertifikatnya akan diberikan kepada kedua pembicara pada hari Senin nanti.
Siap, thank you. Ada dua orang itu yang mau ngobrol dan sharing, Pak Pedro dan Pak Petrus.
Oke. Okay, I give the opportunity for Mr. Pedro. Please turn on your microphone and your camera and give your answer. Give your question. Mr. Pedro Ape Babies. Can I say Mr. Pedro? Can you hear my voice? Okay, we move to second person. I give the opportunity for Brother Petrus Nandi.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Echo. Can you hear my voice?
Yeah, I hear your voice clearly.
Okay, thank you. I want to give my comments or my opinion regarding with the second question of Mrs. Helena. It's about ever I myself find any experience when I feel like dilemma if I want to give this information to the public or not. Okay, based on my personal experience, dilemma happens when I think that this information is not true. I mean, it's not based on the fact, but I think that this information is, I mean, this information can give something something good for me. So dalam bahasa Indonesia-nya, kita menghadapi dilema dalam memberikan sebuah informasi itu ketika kita tahu bahwa informasi itu sebenarnya salah atau keliru atau tidak benar kalau kita berpatokan pada data dan fakta, tetapi kebenaran itu dihalangi oleh kecenderungan atau tendensi pribadi kita sebagai pemberi informasi itu untuk memperoleh sesuatu yang baik atau suatu keuntungan dari informasi yang ingin kita berikan itu. Jadi dalam pengalaman pribadi saya, dilema itu terjadi ketika saya tahu bahwa informasi ini salah dan keliru, tetapi saya merasa bahwa ketika saya ingin memberikan informasi ini atau ketika saya menyebarkan informasi ini bisa mendatangkan keuntungan bagi saya. Seperti itu. Dan ini juga saya temukan dalam kenyataan ya ketika kita tahu sekarang adalah musim pra pemilihan umum dan hal seperti ini banyak sekali terjadi. Banyak sekali orang-orang atau oknum-oknum tertentu yang memberikan atau membagikan informasi yang sebenarnya tidak sesuai dengan fakta atau tidak didasarkan pada sebuah penelitian yang teliti dan jeli, tetapi mereka memberikan informasi-informasi palsu yang mampu mendatangkan keuntungan bagi pihak mereka sendiri. Jadi dalam hal ini dilema terjadi itu ketika kehendak dari sang pemberi informasi ini menguasai atau kehendak untuk memberikan informasi itu bertabrakan atau bertentangan dengan nilai kebenaran atau nilai kebenaran berdasarkan fakta dari informasi itu sendiri. Demikian. Terima kasih.
Thank you for sharing.
Thank you so much, Dr. Petrus Nandi, for to us. Again, I call Brother. Saya berikan kesempatan untuk yang sudah mengangkat tangan. Silakan untuk mengaktifkan kamera dan juga mikrofonnya, kemudian menyampaikan pertanyaan ataupun tanggapan mengenai materi yang kita peroleh pada hari ini. Mr. Pedro, if I'm not wrong. Another question? Maybe I have some question for Miss Helena, but I think I could be better and I explain in Bahasa. So allow me to give my question.
Okay.
Baik Bu Helena, saya tertarik sekali dengan presentasi yang Anda bawakan pun abstrak yang Anda tampilkan yang sempat saya baca itu menyinggung tentang ranah psikologi. Tapi mungkin entah ya saya yang salah dengar ataukah mungkin perhatian saya yang terbagi. Tapi bagi saya mungkin saya masih merasa uh, masih membutuhkan penjelasan yang lebih lanjut dari Ibu Helena. Bagaimana pengaruh AI dalam kehidupan manusia bisa merongrong dan juga degradasi hidup manusia secara psikis. Dan bagi Ibu Helena sendiri, ketakutan terbesar Ibu bila nanti, apa ketakutan terbesar Ibu bila nanti AI itu mampu mendominasi, bahkan menguasai seluruh aspek kehidupan manusia, dan bagaimana dampaknya pada psikis setiap konsumen media yang notabene sering menghabiskan waktu di depan layar laptop, layar televisi maupun layar HP untuk mengonsumsi begitu banyak sumber-sumber, walaupun sebagian besar sumber-sumber yang mereka peroleh itu adalah sumber-sumber yang tidak benar. Apakah pengaruh yang paling besar atau big impact to akhlak, kepribadian, pun cara pandang seseorang? Terima kasih banyak.
Thank you, moderator. Wow, that's a very complex question. I must admit, it's I probably won't be able to answer all. So, Mr. Ferdinand, please jump in anytime if you feel like, just to complement each other. Maybe this is a kind of reflections. I never see, my personal experience anyway, I never see that my virtue about AI in the future, it's completely gonna doom human being existence. I don't think so. I think the reasons why we are always starting the questions about AI, and if this is a normal human being, if you don't know, then you don't love. So what we are starting our questions always, it is always a kind of scary experience to something that, when we are forcing by the technological designer, AI designer, to get into the AI, right? We start with the questions of fear. I was excited, to be honest with you, when I started learning about AI. I know AI for a very long time, but ChatGPT in particular, Gemini, or Perplexity from Apple. I've known this for a while, but I think I know that it takes time before they completely take off and even dictating our life. There are two ways to look on how AI going to influence ourselves. AI function itself. There are two important and really basic aspect of AI. Number one, AI will generating information. Means that if you have a big data and if you have a lot of information, AI can help you generating all those informations to you. Now, this is the challenge, whether those generations of information are something that valid, something that you want to believe at once. But you have to know that the challenge with AI, they really need a big data. We are not talking about 1,000, data set informations or 5,000 link of website. We don't talk about that. When we do this kind of information disorders analysis, we use 500 million data. So that's the amount of information that is needed. And it takes time before data is actually can really take off and control you. But the also challenge is that you really need to, prompt that with the very right questions about that. So what you have to learn is that really learn your relationship with AI and to what extent that you want to AI. Then you can manage whether AI should scare you or should benefit you. I don't feel like I'm scared by AI. So the way how I see AI, it's not skeptical. I don't see AI in a very skeptical way. I'm not really fear. My only fear, it's probably the one that Mr. Ferdinand representing, which is, it's about our protection and privacy. It's about data for sovereignty. That all our informations are stored by other countries, other business owners, and then they dictate us what we have to do with our life. For example, our consumerism behavior and our political belief, our belief in what is right and what is wrong. But if you already have that kind of set of information and set of belief, I think in this way, AI it's actually beneficial. And why it's beneficial? Because when you use AI in the right way, second part of the AI that's really important is prediction. So AI can predict. And let's say, I think we can take that in the control of, for example, disaster management. We've been using AI to control, like we're using a lot of data. So every movement on seismic, we put it in the data of AI set. And AI will read the constant data when the seismic, like the earthquake, it's going to be hit a kind of strong impact, for example. That can be predicted. Or the other is to when we were talking a lot about health, yeah, and the spread health of in Indonesia there are two, yeah, it's diabetic and diabetic and tuberculosis. So they're using a lot of information about health data and people behaviors around, healthcare system, can predict in which area actually tuberculosis and diabetic is actually most prone with. And Sumatra is one way or another because of people behaviors on eating. So eating, it's really kind of habits that you can put into your big data systems. So if you're showing what type of food you're eating every day, AI will convert that into a data and read which part of your time in your life, which age that you can actually going to get diabetic, for example, or with your way, with the kind of pollutions right now, AI can predict when in your time is actually you're going to suffer from your respirations problem, and tuberculosis is one of your respiration problem. So those kind of beneficials actually we can take from AI. I don't see that AI, it's become very scary because now you see AI is attacking you from all aspects. You don't have time to reading it because most of your time only trying to adapt to the technology. Don't adapt to the technology because in the end of the day, you are way more smarter than technology. If you are behind the technology, fine. But you just have to be very, very, very conscious about all of information. As I understand in education, this is probably in education and informations, media in particular, AI is still a big challenge. Because of information's monopoly can create, resonate to the increase of criminality, for example, to the increase of conflict, social conflict. And then you see that in the polarization is the end of the impact of misinformation, right? So this is the negative impact of society. But who produced the information? Algorithm is one way that we are trying now. That's why I've been working with Indonesian government, Ministry of Communication Information, with many media sectors, media communities. How we can develop an equal level of playing fields, making sure that media is still relevant. Platform, it's only part of the tools that people use to distribute information. But in the end of the day, we need a gatekeeper to protect that information from public spheres, or making sure that information is something that doesn't create any negative impact. And if it does, they have a kind of disclaimer mode that making sure that, look, this information is generating by AI. It's your self-responsibilities to make sure. But the problem is us, I mean, like, we have to blame ourselves as well. We have a very little discipline to always do the verification. Self-verification is very weak. We have to admit that. And that's because of the contributions of, our level of knowledge, our understanding of how we have to use technology. So I'm not worried about what is the future with AI on myself, but I am worried with the younger generations because they become a digital native. They see digital as part of their existentialism, which is, something core in the backbone. But being observed that this is an emerging technology is something that I don't think many people say. So that's why I think, I'm really sorry that I missed your presentation, but listening to what you're saying, Pak Ferdinand, I think it's very important. I think this is something that you have to go. Digital science is something that we have to teach our people, our young children in the elementary school even, because this is their culture. This is shaping who they are as an individual. So I think I don't encourage everybody to be that skeptical. I don't think you should see AI that skeptical. You have to be more positive about it, embrace it in a good way, but also being critical. It's very important. And I like the outline of the schemes on how you're understanding whether starting with the information you consume. It's very important. I think maybe Pak Ferdinand, I think it's very important. I'd like to hear from you as well. How do you answer these questions? Because I think it's a very fundamental questions from our moderator friend.
Okay, Miss Helena, thank you. Mr. Moderator?
Yes.
Can I give
you like to answer?
Okay. Actually, Miss Helena has explains comprehensively, based on political economic also, political economic of designing the political economic designing of internet, AI, or algorithms, and American hegemonic to design this is very very high, ya. Jadi hegemoni Amerika dalam mendesain itu memang sangat tinggi, ya. Dan kita tidak bisa menghalangi itu. Nyari kita tidak punya posisi tabar untuk meminta kebijakan multilateral internet, ya. Jadi apa istilahnya, kebijakan internet selama ini itu sangat unilateral, ya, sangat bergantung pada Amerika, ya. Jadi Amerika itu sangat begitu hegemonik, ya. Okay. Your mic is off, Miss Helena.
That's exactly the problem, Pak Ferdinand. In America, they don't regulate the platforms. That's the problem. There's no regulation. And that's create problem to all other countries in the world about their relationship with the platform, because it's owned majority by the tech billionaire in the US.
Betul. And until now, the policy about internet is still unilateral.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the second one is about the impact of AI to mental health or psychological process or psychological condition. Yeah. First one, it may be increase anxiety and stress. Yeah. AI automation and job displacement have led to AI anxiety as people worry about job security and the future of work. Yeah, this uncertainty can cause stress, especially for those in industries vulnerable to automation. Yeah, and AI in mental health support. Yeah, AI-driven therapy bots like Vobot, or Visa offer accessible mental health support, providing a safe space for people to talk about their issues. Yeah. And the second one, and the third, I think that. As Andre Finberg said, that we have to look technology right now into perspective. Yeah, first one is a instrumental perspective. On instrumental perspective, technology just a tool. Jadi teknologi itu hanya alat, ya. On instrumental perspective, but on the other hand, we have to practice or believe the substantive perspective of technology. The substantive perspective of technology sees the technology, sees AI, internet, social media, not just a tool, but it is a new environments. Jadi ini lingkungan baru ya, bukan hanya sebagai tools ya. Because technology can right now define who we are. Ya, teknologi mendefinisikan siapa kita, ya, apa yang akan kita lakukan di masa depan, ya, by prediksi dengan menggunakan algoritma, big data ya. Kemudian barang apa yang akan kita beli sesuai dengan digital traces, jejak-jejak digital kita. Jadi iklan-iklan itu sangat tertarget ya. Jadi teknologi sekarang itu bukan hanya alat ya, tapi sudah menjadi lingkungan baru yang memengaruhi cara bertindak kita, cara berpikir kita, dan mungkin juga persepsi kita tentang manusia ya. Makanya tadi ketika berbicara tentang posthuman, ya saya memberi penekanan pada itu, aspek itu juga ya. How technology decentralizing human as a central of all things ya. Bagaimana teknologi itu mendesentralisasi manusia sebagai pusat segala sesuatu ya. I think that's all, and thank you. And I think that Miss Helena's explanation is very comprehensive ya. And that's all, and thank you. Mbak, saya kembalikan ke moderator.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much for Ms. Helena and Mr. Fernandez for your good input. To my question, I have received some message from the commit. We have to finish our meeting because the duration of meeting till 11:30. So we have 6 minutes more. The commit have given a warning to end this conference. Before that, I would like to say thank you so much for all your attention, especially for our first speaker and second speaker, Honorable Ms. Helena and Honorable Mr. Ferdinandus. Thank you also for all the participants for your participation and your self-givings to the international conference. We apologize if there are many shortcomings and something that are not pleasing to you. Before we close this international conference, allow me to give you some simple close statement. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, today's international conference has highlighted two deeply interconnected topics that challenge us to rethink the foundation of human understanding and our approach to knowledge in an evolving world. For the lens of misinformation, belief in Adler's and May's perspectives, we've explored how individual psychology shapes our susceptibility to misinformation. Adler's emphasized on spatial belonging and May's existential focus on personal authenticity remind us to the complex human motives that drive belief, often shaping our perception of truth. On the other hand, rethinking humanities education in the post-human era forces us to expand beyond traditional human-centered frameworks. As technology AI, and ecological crisis reset the boundaries of humanity. We are called to reconsider the role of humanities education. This evolution encourages a broader, inclusive perspective that not only embraces human diversity, but also redefines our relationship with technology, other species, and the planet. Together, these discussions emphasize the urgent need for an educational approach that fosters critical thinking and an ethical vision that is adaptable to our unchanging world. As we move forward, may we carry these insights, embracing both the physiological depth of individual belief and the transformative potential of humanities education in guiding us towards a more informed and interconnected future.
Okay.
That's all. Thank you so much. Before we end this presentation, allow the committee to take a picture together. So please, everyone, turn on your camera. Turn on your camera, please. Okay. Okay. Everyone, please turn on your camera. I'm sorry because of my battery on laptop is low. Okay. Please show your smile, please. One, two, three. Oke. Oke, sekali lagi. 1, 2, 3. Oke. Terima kasih banyak.
Terima kasih, Saudara Moderator.
Kita berikan aplaus untuk kita semua.
Terima kasih, Miss Helena. Luar biasa. Excellent.
Terima kasih, Salaman.
Thank you, Miss Helena. Great
Aku
presentation.
boleh, can I just share my email here and please email me, Pak Ferdinand?
Oke, siap.
Para hadirin sekalian, jangan lupa untuk mengisi formulir yang saya bagikan di kolom chat. Karena itu yang nanti akan menentukan Anda apakah layak untuk mendapatkan sertifikat atau tidak. Jadi bisa diisi daftar kehadirannya supaya semua peserta bisa mendapat sertifikat online. Sekali lagi jangan lupa untuk mengisi formulir yang sudah saya bagikan di kolom chat agar semua partisipan bisa memperoleh sertifikat.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. We are waiting for another presentation from Miss Helena.
Ya, Pak.
Hopefully.
Terima kasih, Romo.
We should meet again.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Mr. Ferdinandus, thank you very much. Bye.
Terima kasih, Romo.
Ya, makasih. Sama-sama ya.
Ya, sama-sama. Ya.